Hi there, thank you for joining me once again. It's time for News Tonight. My name is Lily Mohammed. Coming up in this belt, another day of entrenched positions causes Speaker Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagman to indefinitely adjourn Parliament as majority and minority caucuses trade accusations against each other.
This extraordinary meeting is accordingly adjourned.
Still in Parliament, Majority Leader Alexander Penyomarking accuses the minority of attempts to prevent the passage of a bill to protect the free SHS policy.
What Mr. Speaker did today amount to supervising chaos.
We'll interrogate that also ahead. President Nana Akufo-Addo State in the Western region receives mixed reactions from residents in that area. Later in business, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia touts the importance of credit scoring system as he launches My Credit Score. We have details of these and many others all in the 60 Minutes belt. You want to stay tuned in. Hello again, once again, my name is Lily Mohammed. Let's settle with security issues as we begin this bulletin. Now, there's tension mounting in Kwahu in the eastern region following the abduction of Kwahu Abetifihene Achemfuasi Eduajiman III by armed men who later stripped him half naked before one Obapinyin Yasantua, who claims to be a Bewatia of the royal family. In a video that captured the incident, the Kwahu Abetifihene, who was acting president of the Kwahu Traditional Council following alleged installment of the Kwahu, was seen being molested by the armed men while in his shorts, seated on the floor before the Abewatia. Upon hearing about the incident, angry youth of Abetifi besieged the house where the Abetifihene was being molested, forcing the armed men to flee for their lives, leaving the priestess. A video captured the Abewatia being paraded naked on the streets by the angry youth. The situation has heightened tension in Kwahu, leading to deployment of armed police and military. Welcome back to the bulletin. This is still News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Now, earlier I told you about an armed incident in Bitifi, Kwahu, Bitifi. Let's go over the phone and engage Agu FM's Ebenezer Kwejo Nyavo. Ebenezer, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
What more can you report on this matter?
All right, so around 9 a.m. today, we received reports of chieftaincy in Kwahu, Bitifi, located in the eastern region, right, Kwahu East District. Upon arrival at the scene, we found out that directing Kwahu mining at the Mfoa Sidua III, who is also the Adonai of the Kwahu traditional area, and the chief of Bitifi had reportedly been detained in an old palace nearby. There were individuals dressed in a tie resembling that of a national security personnel, but we were informed they were not affiliated with national security. They permitted the media to enter the palace, and we promptly inquired about the situation. So addressing us, the Oba opinion and so on, identified as the Abdulwati of Kwahu, declared that she had formally disproved the Abitifian. The chief himself was present, and it was clear that the circumstances were tense. Leaving his role as acting co-miner, the details I am unable to disclose for now. So during the encounter, traditional rituals were performed, including the sacrifice of a sheep. However, due to the escalating tension, we decided to leave the area swiftly. Later, local authorities intervened and managed to retrieve the chief from the Abdulwati and her entourage. So, following this, elders conducted traditional rites to restore him to his position using ritual items like sheep and snaps. So, the situation intensified as some youth attempted to break into the old palace, intent on confronting the Abdulwati. At one point, some even tried to use ladder to gain entry, but security personnel were able to prevent further escalation. So eventually, the Minister of Agriculture, who also is the MP for the area, Dr. Champon, arrived. He entered the palace and, with support of the police, helped escort the Abdulwati to the police station. The Abdulwati was subjected to significant harassment, and several men were with her, including the guys who supported her during her exile. The Oba Opinion was stripped and then transported to the Abitifi police station. So those involved in the disturbance, including the individuals resembling the security personnel, were all arrested according to the MP, Brian Champon. They are scheduled to appear in court tomorrow. So the situation at Bitifi was tense throughout the day. When the personal note, my phone was taken away during the incident, but it was returned after I showed my identification. So this is a report I gathered from Bitifi today.
Ebenezer, thank you very much. But after the arrest, do you know what has happened to the Abdulwati?
Please, I can hardly hear you.
I'm asking, what has happened to the Abdulwati after the arrest of these men?
So she has been arrested.
Oh, she has also been arrested.
Including the other 28 guys who were accompanied by her.
And where is the Abitifi Hine?
So the Abitifi Hine is also at the Abitifi Palace right now. There's a video circulating on social media where Dr. Brian Champon and the Abitifi Hine, including the Kwahu, who is also the PPRC chief. So in the video, I heard Dr. Brian Champon assuring the people of Kwahu and Ghanaians that Kwahu is safe and there's peace. So for now, the chief is also doing well, and we are told he has also gone under medical treatment, so he's doing well.
Okay, we'll leave it here for now. Thank you very much. That's Ebenezer Nyavo. He's our reporter with Agu FM, bringing us up to speed with what's happening in Abitifi. As we speak, calm has returned to that area. Let's head to Insight. Parliament has served notice or triggering another recall of Parliament. This follows the Speaker's decision to once again suspend proceedings indefinitely, citing the absence of members of the NPP caucus in the chamber. The potential chaos that characterized the last sitting, where the NDC caucus laid claim to the majority status, existed today when they occupied the right side of the Speaker. The Speaker of Parliament, after taking his seat, abruptly once again suspended the meeting indefinitely, citing the absence of the NPP MPs.
It is not advisable to be adjourning from day to day, and so I'll proceed once more to adjourn the meeting indefinitely, and the meeting, this extraordinary meeting, is accordingly adjourned.
The NDC caucus, through its leader, Dr. Kesiel Atuforsen, questioned the basis for the recall of Parliament by the NPP MPs if they were not ready to be in the chamber.
They have certainly, everything shows that the NPP are tired, they are fed up, and they are not ready to work for the people. They are ready for the people's business. They are bereft of ideas, and they are short of vision. They cannot solve the suffering of the people. All what they do out there during campaigns, in spite of the hardship, is to sing and dance Osisifia. That's all what they do. In times like this, when the ordinary Ghanaian is struggling to survive, they are dancing and singing Osisifia.
MP for Adansia Soko and Minister for Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, had some harsh words for the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, accusing him of defying the orders of the Supreme Court. He threatened the former Naduli Kalio MP is a candidate for contempt of the Supreme Court and impeachment.
It was unconstitutional. It was unlawful. By any account, it was illegal. The Supreme Court, contrary to the assertion by he himself and some members of the minority who keep proclaiming from high roofs and high heaven that the Parliament is a master of its own rules and regulations, the Supreme Court is told Babi and Parliament that you are not. There is an institution which is the master of the rules of Parliament, and that this is what the law is. That you cannot make the decision, the proclamation that
the MP for Tamale Central, Murtala Mohammed, however, refuted the claims by Katie Hammond against the Speaker. According to the former Deputy Trades Minister, the harsh words used against the Speaker are uncalled for. He argued that the NPP MPs have rather caused financial loss to this country, since more than 1 million cedis is spent on every single sitting of Parliament.
What use will it be for us to sit in this chamber when we can't take any decision? And in any case, there wasn't any decision to even be taken, because we didn't even have order paper. The order paper will indicate the business that you ought to take when you have sittings, and the order paper is generated from the meetings of the business committee a day before the sitting, or sometimes 2 days before the sitting. That order paper was not there because the MPP refused to participate in the business statement. This particular sitting was not called by the NDC. It was the NPP. So the question is, why did they waste all of us our time? It comes with a huge financial burden to the state.
Majority Leader Alexander Kwamina Afenyo-Markin, in his address to the media, accused the Speaker of bad faith. The Futu MP explained that his side decided to stay out of the chamber because their seats had been taken over by the NDC MPs. Alexander Kwamina Afenyo-Markin, however, disclosed his side would engage the Speaker on the matter, but served notice Article 112, Clause 3 will be triggered for another recall of Parliament.
I, on behalf of my colleagues, the majority, inquired from Mr. Speaker whether our friends who were seated to his right would be allowed by him to sit there, because that was not their rightful place, in view of his own admission that he had not proclaimed them as such nor declared them as such. The Speaker responded
that indeed sitting arrangement of Parliament was a responsibility of the clerk to Parliament. What Mr. Speaker did today amount to supervising chaos and bringing the image of democracy to disrepute.
Meanwhile, Assin Central MP Kennedy GHOne, on his part, cautioned the political class about the dangers of what is happening in the House of the Legislature. He faulted the leadership of the MPP for not informing the Speaker of their meeting.
Whatever is going on, if we don't put an end to it and we politicize issues, Ghana, I'm telling you, in 2025, you will see worse things in Parliament. Because whoever wins and whoever loses will not cooperate. Then what will be the fate of our country? That is my major concern. Of late, I have not been speaking, but it's absurd to see grown-ups, members of Parliament, behaving the way we are behaving. It's simple. For peace sake, how many weeks left for the country to go through all what is going through? Don't think it's only MPP. It's Ghana going through these challenges. The way things are going, I believe that next month is going to be Christmas, and workers are not even going to have their salary because Parliament we have to approve.
To save Ghana, we shall win. We shall win. We shall win to save Ghana. We shall win. We shall win to save Ghana.
So that's the majority caucus with their leader addressing the press. Interesting sights and scenes from Parliament we have witnessed today. But our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Ibrahim Alassan joins me in studio. Ibrahim,
yes,
quite an interesting day, hasn't it?
Very.
For you as a press corps, I mean, you and your colleagues prior to going into Parliament today, is this something you're expecting?
Yes, and I kept saying that on this platform, that if you look at the reasons why Speaker suspended the meeting the last time, those reasons were still rife. They were still very active.
Yeah.
And so it didn't come to me as a surprise. In fact, there were some MPs I engaged yesterday who told me they expected the same thing because I was seeking to engage them further on some other things, and they said, oh, forget it, Parliament will adjourn again. So some MPs actually knew what was going to happen. It was facilitated by the absence of the majority members
caucus,
on the floor, because when Speaker came, what this also meant was that there was no pre-sitting meeting. Usually there will be pre-sitting meeting where the issues will be agreed upon as to what will happen on the floor. Yes, Alexander Kwame explains that when they talk about the business for the day, it is part of the petition sent to the Speaker under Article 1123, which is true, as in the matters of urgent importance that needed to be attended to. So that could have constituted the business for the day. Yes, but Speaker argued that this recall was triggered by the majority side. Now, the announcement was that sitting was to take place 10 a.m. in the forenoon. As at the time Speaker took his seat, there was only one caucus that was present. And mind you, Clark had made a determination as to where each side was going to sit. So the name tags of the majority members of Parliament or the MPP members of Parliament had been fixed at the right side of the Speaker. And then name tags for that of the NDC to the left side of the Speaker. But the NDC members, just as we were told yesterday by Government Kwahu, the Chief Whip, that they still insist that until and unless they hear from the Speaker, they still hold themselves as the majority. And so, before Speaker came, the NDC MPs are taking their seats, and it was at the right side of the Speaker. There was no single MPP MP on the floor as at that time. Subsequently, Kennedy GHOne then explains that the MPP caucus was in a meeting. The meeting dragged, and so they didn't have access to a television set to even monitor what's happening in the chamber. So he was delegated to lead a number of MPP MPs to see what was happening.
Exactly.
When they went to the chamber, sitting has started. They said, okay, if sitting, and sitting has not just started, but NDC MPs were sitting at the right side of the speaker.
You were there earlier.
Yes.
Were you there before the NDC caucus walked into?
Yes, there was nobody there. There was no MPP MP because, of course, as Kennedy Japon explains, they were locked up in a caucus meeting.
Well, I heard the leader of the majority caucus, Alexander Kwame, saying that he had seen a video of their names on the majorities at the right side of the speaker,
yes.
which meant that they were meant to sit there. Is that the case when you walked into the chamber today?
Well, yes. So the clerk, as the speaker has repeatedly said, he doesn't determine where the caucuses sit.
Okay.
It's left to the clerk.
But whatever the clerks do, is it in consonance with the office of the speaker?
Yes. So clerk had then, of course, indicated per the fixing of the name tags that the NPP MPs will sit where they were sitting before this whole brouhaha started.
Okay.
That will be the right side.
Okay.
Right. But like I said, the NDC MPs insist that until they hear from the speaker that the announcement he made about the status of the 4 MPs has been either quashed, set aside, or that announcement no longer holds, they still insist they are in a majority. Where else would the speaker make any pronouncement rather than on the floor? But when sitting started, one caucus was not present. So speaker didn't even make a pronouncement as which side is majority, which side is minority. The counter argument from the MPP side is this. The Supreme Court had made a pronouncement and reinforced that pronouncement by dismissing the application of the speaker. So it goes without saying that automatically the NPP still remains the majority caucus. That's the argument, the legal argument of the majority or the MPP caucus, that per what the Supreme Court handed down, and that decision, it means that there are no ifs and buts. MPP in the majority, NDC in the minority. NDC says we have to hear from the speaker. Now, how do we hear from the speaker if there is no certain taking place, right? And so, therefore, speaker said the group that triggered this recall is not here. Mind you, speaker had not been informed about the caucus meeting that was taking place per the accounts of Kennedy Japon. If speaker had been informed that there was a caucus meeting taking place, chances are speaker will not assume that the boycott that took place the last time he suspended the meeting is exactly what is happening now.
I heard, during the wranglings that, we'll impeach the speaker. If they impeach the speaker, will it suffice?
Well, so to impeach the speaker, the process is much more cumbersome than it can be imagined. But what I've heard is that, of course, Katie Hammond says speaker will be cited for contempt. And that simply means that the speaker has refused to implement the directives or decisions of the Supreme Court. So they will head back to the same apex court of the land and cite the speaker for contempt. Yes, and the other processes will follow. But of course, impeaching a speaker is not
the way to go.
A child's play. Okay.
All right, Ibrahim, thank you very much. So that's our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Ibrahim Alassan. Well, still in Parliament, the leader of the NPP caucus, the majority side, Alexander Kwame, has accused the opposition NDC of conspiring with the Speaker to prevent the passage of the Free SHS bill. Addressing the media, the lawmaker accused the NDC of having plans to abort the policy when they come to power.
There are important things to do. We have the Free SHS bill, which is before Parliament. Their main aim is to conspire with Mr. Speaker to prevent the Free SHS bill from being passed. And in an unlikely situation where they see the light of day in the election, cancel it. That, after all, there's no law backing it. Their main target is the Free SHS bill. That is why there was a pre-announcement of its laying in Parliament, and you remember how they fought against it. So it's an opportunity for them to, as it were, prevent the Free SHS bill from being passed. And if they succeed in doing that, to them, in their wishful minds, in their wishful thinking, parents will get upset and then say that after all the Free SHS was not working. The Free SHS has benefited many Ghanaians, in spite of the challenges. We know as a country, the reforms that have been made by two ministers, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh and Dr. Yao Educhum. These two gentlemen who were assigned to superintend over the education ministry have done so well. And the outcome of their works is known to all Ghanaians. This is what the NDC want to set back.
That's it for Insight. Kusau People's Congress is urging President Akufo-Addo to take a decisive action in resolving the ongoing conflict in the Upper East town of Bawku before leaving office. President of the group, Professor GHOne, who addressed a press conference in Accra, expressed deep concern over the ongoing violence which has led to tragic loss of lives and widespread property destruction. Professor Azuma called on the president to use his executive authority to bring peace to the troubled area.
We are gathered here to cry out to our president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, because the people of Bawku and Kusau are in deep pain. When he came to power, Bawku was very peaceful. He's been in power for 8 years, and he will soon be leaving office. And we are asking him and pleading with him not to leave Bawku as he leaves office. Since November 2021, our people have felt abandoned by the state, and we want to state emphatically that the conflict has dragged on all this while because of government inaction, government mixed messaging, and even government complicity. The government itself has said severally that what is happening in Bawku is sheer criminality. Since November 2021, people brazenly commit crimes in broad daylight, film themselves, and share on social media. Yet not a single person has been arrested and successfully prosecuted. Abagre's return reignited the violence which had subsided. Kusasis harbor no animosity towards Mamprusis. I want to underline that Kusasis do not hate Mamprusis. We have Mamprusi mothers, Mamprusi cousins, Mamprusi nephews, wives, friends, etc. The killing is too much. We are one people in many ways. God has brought us together in that land. Nobody can run and leave the fellow. And let me say this. I don't want to believe that Dr. Bawumia has anything directly to do with the conflict. However, there is a saying that silence means consent. And he has been too silent. And this problem is going on under your watch, Dr. Bawumia's watch. He has the authority. He is one of us. He can bring this conflict to a stop if he wants to. But he has chosen to remain silent.
The news returns shortly after this break. Stay tuned in.
Dr. Bawumia once said,
but if the fundamental
Welcome back to the news. This is News Tonight here on GHOne TV. My name is Lily Mohammed. Now, Ghana has recorded over 34,000 new HIV cases from January to the third quarter of this year. This was disclosed during the launch of the 2024 World AIDS Day, organized by the Ghana AIDS Commission, which included a solemn candlelight procession in memory of those who lost their lives to AIDS. Here's the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Cheme Tuahine, speaking on the new infections.
HIV diagnosis is done routinely in the health facilities every day. And so over the last 9 months, that is from January to September, more than 1.3 million people were tested. And out of that number, we have more than 34,000 who tested positive for HIV. HIV infections in the country mainly through sexual contact. So you have sexual transmission accounting for estimated 80% of all HIV infections or transmission in the country. 15% through mother-to-child transmission and 5% through other modes of transmission, like use of contaminated showers. And so sexual transmission is the main transmission route. And the reason for large numbers of infections is because of risks, sexual risk that is quite prevalent among Ghanaians. And so what we might mean by sexual risk, having unprotected sex is the number one sexual risk. And unfortunately, whilst people are having unprotected sex, it is often among multiple partners or multiple sexual partners. And that increases the risk of transmission. And also when people have untreated sexually transmitted infections, especially the ulcerative ones, that also increases the risk. And so multiple sexual partnership is what we need to tackle as a people. But unfortunately, that practice is quite prevalent in the country.
Meanwhile, some Ghanaians have reacted to this and they have shared with us the measures they are taking themselves to prevent from getting infected.
I use sanitizer. What I do, I need to sanitize my hands because I hold different types of people, their legs, bodies, and other stuff. I need to protect myself, I need to protect my clients. So for my client to feel safe, I need to sanitize my hands. After sanitize my hands, after that I washed my hands before going to the next time. That's why I keep myself good.
Personally, what I do to protect myself not to be infected with the virus is one, because if you have one partner, I think it's fine if you are of the age and ready for it. Then start getting yourself tested regularly. Yeah, I mean, within every 4 months, 6 months, I think it's good. And then those using those pedicures must be very sterile before you use it. Those having their such as my own, are very downcast. So using those sharp shaving tools need to be very sterile before you use it. And then
total abstinence, and also avoid sharing sharp objects that can lead to transmission of the disease. That's the precautions I take to prevent HIV, because we know that there's no cure currently. It's only treatments that you can go to. So the best thing for me is abstinence.
The use of the sanitizer got me. Anyway, let's head to the business world. President Dr. Mohammed has emphasized that establishing a reliable credit scoring system such as My Credit Score will have numerous benefits, including reduced lending risk, decreased default payments, and a boost to the economy. A credit score, typically a 3-digit number between 300 and 850, represents an individual's credit risk, serving as a vital link between lenders and borrowers. This score plays a crucial role in determining the interest rates and credit limits offered to individuals. He was speaking at the launch of the system here in Accra.
The Credit Reporting Act was passed by Parliament in 2007. And the purpose of the Credit Reporting Act is to provide a legal and regulatory framework for credit reporting in Ghana. The availability of credit information is generally accepted to be crucial for the development and maintenance of an effective financial sector. Borrowers tend to have a natural incentive not to reveal negative information about themselves. The lack of a credit information system therefore increases the risks of lending and causes financial institutions to provide less credit. The credit reporting system in Ghana would provide timely, accurate, and up-to-date information on the debt profile and repayment history of borrowers, and would lead to a number of benefits, including the reduction of information asymmetry between borrowers and lenders, enabling financial institutions to make informed decisions about the allocation of credit, reducing default probabilities of borrowers as they seek to meet their obligations in a timely manner, improving access to credit facilities by small and medium-sized businesses, enabling the central bank to monitor systematic risks on an aggregate basis, also promote the development of a mortgage market, and promote financial stability and efficient allocation of resources in the Ghanaian economy.
Now, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture is urging young individuals to acquire farmland and benefit from free inputs for cultivation. The government has implemented a policy to provide easy access to necessary equipment, making farming more attractive and profitable. Deputy Minister of the Ministry, Yafrin Poado, made these remarks during his inspection tour of the Ghana Exim Bank's Farmers Market, a precursor event to the 40th National Farmers Day.
The share of value added by the agricultural sector to the gross domestic product in 2023 stands at 21.1%. To increase the percentage and create more jobs, the government, under the Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2, is making free provisions of farm input for anyone who acquires farmland to venture into large-scale farming.
There's so much in store for farmers in this country, especially the young ones. Under this Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2, we said that just look for your land, and that's it. That's all. When the land is registered, any input that you require to become a farmer will be given to you under this project, and this is private sector driven. We are just facilitating everything from Exim, from ADB, all those people to put together some money for an aggregator to come to your farm X, and say that your farm is 20 acres, you are producing maize, you require 5 bags of improved seed to cultivate. They will give it to you.
The Deputy Chief Executive Officer responsible for banking at the Ghana Exim Bank, Rosemary Beryl Acha, congratulated all farmers for their continuous contribution to the Ghanaian economy and underscored the importance of financial institutions providing facilities for farmers for value addition.
On an occasion such as the National Farmers Day, we decided to celebrate the farmer because we are agents for the government's industrialization. So today, if it's Farmers Day, we are taking the opportunity to congratulate all farmers and fishermen. We are assuring them that Ghana Exim Bank, the board, executive management, and all staff, as well as our clients.
That's it for the business news. The news returns shortly after this breather. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. This is still News Tonight. It's now time for sports, and Monica Bukari standing by. Monica, what's up in sports?
Lily, well, Coach Otuado has made another bold decision by naming Jordan Ayew as the captain of the Black Stars in place of Thomas Partey, who was omitted from his squad. I've got details of this coming up shortly, so do stay. Stars head coach Otuado has named his squad for the final 2 matches of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Angola on November 15 and Niger on November 18. Arsenal talisman Thomas Partey names was however omitted from the list. Jordan Ayew, according to Otuado, will captain the team during these 2 matches. The Black Stars need nothing short of 2 victories to keep their slim hopes of qualification alive. There is more in this following report.
Black Stars head coach Otuado just named his squad for the double-header against Angola and Niger. And Captain Thomas Partey has been left out again. Otuado explains why.
I had a confidential talk with Thomas. I'm a coach who always like to protect the players. So I hope for your understanding. For me, the team is like family, and I'm not coming out with internal issues. But I made quite clear to him he wanted to come. So this one first, he wanted to come, but I made quite clear that why he's not coming.
In the last 2 games, Western player Mohammed was the captain of the Black Stars. Now Jordan Ayew is back for the captain's armband for the next 2 games.
After I talked to Thomas, first of all, I had to talk to Kudus. For him, I think he's still young. He needs to grow into that role. At the end, I decided to take a new captain for the team, which will be Jordan. So I talked to Kudus for him to understand that for me, he still needs to learn and grow into that role. And I want him to still to be second captain alongside GHOne. But Jordan will take over now, from now. And he will lead and guide the team. And
we spoke to some sports journalists and football fanatics on what they make of Jordan Ayew coming back as captain and also Thomas Partey being left out of the squad.
Some of us were surprised he decided to, let out the captaincy out to Kudus Mohammed, and it looks like it's too much of a responsibility on the shoulders of the young man. And it's good enough that someone with that experience and who can withstand criticism and pressure like Jordan has been brought back as a captain.
It has come at the right time where Kudus seems to be in an inconsistent state, or he's not in the right state of mind. Look at what he's done at Tottenham since the last international break. Hasn't gone too well. So it's only right that we pass on the baton to someone else, someone who's more experienced, someone who's a bit calmer, who's an old face in the national team.
I don't know why the Thomas Partey omission and Coach Otuado's response to that doesn't sit well with me, especially if we want to go back to the 2 games against Sudan. The storylines around.
And that's it for sports. My name is Monica Bukari. Back to you, Lily. Now we have our squad, Lily. So that's it.
So I think
I wish them all the best, but I know Nkusiaga. Anyway, that's it for the news. My name is Lily Mohammed. You want to log on to starfm.com.gh for more news updates. Have a good evening.